Hello. In our Parashat Matot, Masei, we read about the terrible tragedy of someone unintentionally killing some other person. The halakha is, of course, that in such a case, a person has to run away, flee to an ir miklat, and stay there until the Kohen HaGadol passes away. But not everyone has the right to go to an ir miklat if they've murdered someone unintentionally. The Torah tells us that in order to do so, it has to be done in a way that is suddenly, with no hatred. Befeta belo eva. And Chazal learned from that, if someone kills someone unintentionally, but their relationship is a really, 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 really bad one, that he is considered a soneh, someone who is a hater, he really despises this other person, we don't treat this case as an unintentional murder. The Rambam says in a very harsh way, he says, we have a chazakah that this person is close to being intentional. Chizkato shu karov lemezid are the exact words of the Rambam in Ilchot Rotzeach U'Shmirat HaNefesh, Perek Vav Halacha Yud. Why is this? How do we have this understanding that someone who doesn't have a good relationship with this person, but then he passes by him on the bridge and unintentionally he runs into him and he falls off the bridge? We say, no, this really isn't so unintentional. We have this understanding that if there's such a terrible relationship where there is this deep feeling of hatred, what stands behind this is maybe a lower level of relating, understanding, accepting the other person as a real person, that he is a complete person. It's a little bit as if the hater dehumanizes the other person that he's killed. Hatred is this understanding that this person that I see next to me is a person that I do not have what to value about, and therefore I hate this person. Hatred is a very terrible thing in many situations. Sometimes it's needed, but when this relationship is within Ham Yisrael and you have someone who hates someone else, he dehumanizes him. He sees him as a lower level of life, and therefore when he walks by him on this bridge, he isn't 100% careful. He's not careful with him as he would be careful with someone else because he doesn't respect his life as much as he respects someone else's life. And this is a very deep lesson that we have to learn, that our relationships with people are not just emotions. These emotions of how we feel towards others can affect the way we behave towards them, and the way we behave towards them has terrible consequences at many times. We're in Yemei Ben HaMetzarim. In Yemei Ben HaMetzarim, we say, of course, the Beit HaMikdash was destroyed because of Sinat Chinam. The Sinat Chinam comes from the situation where people that live together have no respect for each other, have no understanding for the other person's way of life, for the other person's opinions, and they despise each other. And therefore they disrespect their lives, as we know in the terrible story of Beit HaMikdash HaSheni. And Baruch Hashem, we're not there. But still, in the Israeli society, we have so many opinions and so many ways of life. And many times we hear very harsh words being used towards other people or toward other groups. And we have to be really careful. Because many times the way we talk about someone reflects the way we feel about them. And when we feel about someone in such a terrible way, that could really end up with terrible consequences. So to end with something optimistic, we'll say that the opposite, of course, is with love, with ahavat chinam, and yehi ratzon, that we'll manage to strengthen ourselves with ahavat chinam, with mutual respect between all people and groups in our society. Shabbat Shalom.